Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Shermaine, aka Terry McGinnis, coming at y'all with some Titanfall. I'm gonna go ahead and say this now. I'm tired as hell. It's early Sunday morning, but I had to make these videos before the worldwide reveal. I had to get these last two out, starting with this one, then another Titanfall one, which is kind of a general concern and a general E3 prediction slash what I want to see, and kind of shit like that. I needed to make those just to get them on the record, on the YouTube record, that is. Because when it comes to Titanfall predictions, I mean, shit, all you have to do is ask me. I know what my predictions are, and my friends know what they are, especially if they asked me, and I'll tell them what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and what I hope to see. But I needed to get them out for y'all. That's why I've been trying to pump out these videos as fast as I can, while still making them, making them with some substance, not just saying, really general fucking things. Really putting my mind at work and really thinking what Respawn could be thinking themselves. So I'm tired. I might not be the most coherent, the most clear right now. I might be all over the place. I might have to repeat myself a lot of times, but I just had to get these videos out. I just had to get them out so I could have them on the YouTube record, and y'all will know what's going on in my head. But what I wanted to talk about in this video is the not the Titanfall weapons, the Titan melee weapons. And because we've only seen the sword, that's what I was writing about, was just the sword, right? Not anything else that they might come up with. Hey, I thought about this, and like in the middle of writing all my details about the Titan sword. Don't be surprised if you see like a fucking Titan ballistic shield. Hey, you never know. But I wanted to talk about the Titan sword and how it's gonna work. So I was writing down some things. I actually started writing numbers and trying to find some hard figures, but I realized that I just don't have enough time for that. That takes a lot of research and a lot of comparisons and shit like that, and I just don't have time for that when it's fucking Sunday already. I just needed to get the idea out there. So you sit and you think to yourself, melee weapons in Titanfall 2, like, the idea sounds badass, but the problem is they need to be practical. It's obvious that melee weapons are going to be effective at close range, but what about medium range or longer? Are you just going to be super fucked if you're caught with your pants down and there's a Titan shooting at you medium or longer range? Like, are you just in a really bad situation to where the sword provides absolutely no sort of utility to you in a situation like that? So how the mechanic work is the question that we have to ask ourselves. And I took to my journal, I started writing down some shit, and I'm gonna go ahead and share that with you all. First of all, one of the biggest questions that I've actually been asking myself is, will the Titan sword slash melee weapons be a Titan ordnance, or will they be a secondary weapon? Now, I honestly think that Respawn can go 50-50 with this. I'm leaning towards ordnance, but the problem is, with an ordnance, you have to say, like, why would you use a Titan sword over a rocket salvo, or even better, a cluster missile, which is a really good ordnance? Why would you pick a Titan sword over a rocket salvo? I mean, Jesus Christ, over a cluster missile. Why would you pick it over those things? So it has to be, it has to compare to those. It has to be good enough to where you can pick a Titan sword, a melee weapon, over a rocket salvo, slave warheads, or cluster missile, and it still be a viable option. It has to be designed with those in mind if it's an ordnance. If it's if it's a secondary weapon, then it kind of changes it. It's the same thing about the grappling hook, really, same concept. But I honestly think they can go 50-50. I'm leaning more towards ordnance, but honestly, don't be surprised if it's a secondary weapon, and I won't be either, because I like I said, I think it could be either or. It's going to be dangerous up close. This will give distant Titan users, Titan fighters, whatever you want to call them, people that prefer to stay at longer ranges and use longer range weapons like a railgun, or hell, even the 40mm, which is a fantastic weapon from all ranges. It gives them, a fighting chance, because if they get flanked with a Titan, especially something like a Strider, as fast as it is, in close quarter combat, with quad rockets that's using the rapid fire, shooting one rocket at a time, they're fucked, man. Especially something with like the railgun or the charge rifle, you're in a bad spot. But if you can pop that baby out, you're putting yourself in a better position because of the abilities, which I will get to later, of deflect and the arc damage, and they're going to be very effective in CQC. Some miscellaneous Titan details that I just wrote down when I was thinking about it is when you equip the Titan weapon, the Titan sword, your movement speed will be increased. I feel like that should be a norm across all Titan weapons because it kind of encourages you to use it. You can run faster, you can move faster, because if you could only move at your base speed, then there's no functionality for it if you're not in fucking close range or something like that. So I feel like if you whip it out, you should move faster. Also, I think the Titan sword or slash Titan melee weapons will be foldable slash extendable. The reason why I want that is because I don't want the hitbox to be increased on a Titan if you use it, if you elect to use it, because then you could shoot the Titan sword, even though it's not, directly a part of the Titan itself, and you will still take damage. It'd be stupid, it'd be ridiculous. So I don't want that. I want that to be like a, part of the Titan that you can like whip out, almost like a lightsaber almost, because that would just be ridiculous if it was just hanging on your back like horizontally, just sticking out, and you can shoot it and you just start taking damage. It'd just be mad stupid. So let's talk about the Titan sword basic mechanics. The Titan sword will have a meter that's associated with it, but that doesn't mean you can't use it when the meter is depleted. The meter represents the arc energy stored in the sword, and the sword will have different abilities. Now, the arc energy that's going to be stored in it is what makes the Titan sword so effective at close range, because when a Titan sword inflicts arc damage, anything that it's the same exact thing as an arc grenade. It's going to disorientate your target, and because this is only meant for a Titan, a Titan on Titan fight, that's a big deal, because anyone that's played Titanfall, and if you get hit by a fucking arc grenade, man, it will fuck your vision up, and you can't see a damn thing. So that's the whole point, is to hit a Titan, move around. They can't really acquire you as a target, and you're at an advantage just constantly moving around them, right? And so the different abilities will be augmented by arc charge or no arc charge. Okay, so here are the three abilities that I've came up with. The first one is deflect, almost carbon copy of Genji's deflect in Overwatch if you played that. Deflect incoming bullets, bullets back towards the crosshairs, exactly where you're aiming. Arc charge deflects if you have an arc charged and you use deflect, it will deflect the bullets and inflict more damage along with the arc damage as well. So it'll disorientate the target. They won't be able to see. And I'm not sure about this. Jury's still out about these other details. But deflect will stop rockets, similar to vortex shield, but reflect them, I don't know. I thought about you doing deflecting deflecting projectiles. But I think it's kind of ridiculous if you can deflect a rocket which explodes on contact, on impact. So I'm going to stick to bullets for now. The deflect, will deflect bullets. Jesus Christ, I was redundant. See, I told you guys, I'm all over the place right now. But it will deflect bullets, but it will stop rockets if it's arc charged. Only if it's arc charged will it stop rockets. The deflect consumes a fourth of the meter and slowly depletes as it's used, increasing depletion based on how long the ability is active or projectiles caught. I'm not sure about that. Those are specifics that would require a lot of testing. But that's the basic deflect ability. The other ability I came up with was Wind Fury. Very similar to Genji's Swift Strike. But the way it works is, based on the number of dashes consumed, you fly forward and strike an enemy Titan. So with an ogre, you can only go so far, right? With a strider, you can go very far because you can consume all three of your dashes. With an atlas, you can consume two and go a good distance. And who knows about the other titans like the gazelle or the Goliath? I'll talk about those later. But based on the number of dashes consumed, you fly forward and strike the titan. The further the dash depends on the amount of the further the flight depends on the amount of dashes consumed. Depletes half of your meter, but the payoff is going to be high. It's going to be a really high risk, high reward type of maneuver, because not only do you deplete your entire dash capacity, you can't dash, which is critically important to your strafing when you're using a Titan, you throw that all away. But if you hit, especially with arc damage, you're going to do a shitload of damage. And I want this to inflict a stun, a stagger state on the opponent if you get hit with this, because you can only move in one fucking direction. So if you get hit with this, I mean, it should be pretty easy to avoid. But if you flank a person, now that's what we're talking, okay? That's what we're talking if you flank a person. But I want you to fly forward, deplete their shield entirely, do a pretty good amount of damage, and stagger the enemy Titan, giving you the advantage. High risk, high reward, okay? So that's Wind Fury. The last ability that I have for my Titan sword is called Valkyrie, also known as Saber Throw, you know, on some Darth Vader type shit. You spin meter and you throw your sword forward in a straight line. Arc charge inflicts more damage and disorientates targets and slows movement speed. Not nearly as much as a Wind Fury, right? It slows them down, but it doesn't cause them to go in a stagger state. Non-arc charge just deals damage, right? It's effective at medium range, consumes a third of your meter, right? And the last thing I have is just a vanilla attack. Arc charge deals more damage, disorients, and possibly slows enemy Titan. I'm not quite sure, but you know, yeah, that's how I basically think the Titan weapon, the Titan sword, is going to work. Those three abilities. Yeah, you guys, I know I was all over the place. I'm sorry. It's late. I just had to get this out as soon as possible because I waited quite a while to talk about this. But those are kind of like my general ideas, what I have. I really do want to crunch some numbers when it comes to this because I think that could be a lot of fun. But we have three abilities: deflect, a throw, you know, basically a saber throw, fucking, you know, throw the damn thing, Darth Vader style, and a swift strike, if you want to call it that, more or less, a Wind Fury, which based on how far you go, you deal more damage, you hit an enemy, consumes your dash charges, and I think, to conclude, I think that the Titan melee weapons will be on a meter system, a meter mechanic. I really do. And I think they'll have, at least the Titan sword will have an arc charge of some kind. I just don't think that a vanilla weapon will be feasible at any range if it doesn't have something else to help it out, like the arc damage. Let's see, what else? Trying to wrap up. I guess other than that, that's pretty much it. That's how I think it's going to work. You know, it's going to have a meter. You're going to have some abilities. The abilities will deplete the meter. You could still use your sword if you don't have any meter left, but it's nowhere near as effective. I guess that's it, you guys. Yeah, I was all over the place, but I had to get this out there, so I apologize for that. I will go on a more in-depth video about this, you know, later down the line. But that's going to do it for me, you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. I had to get this prediction out before, you know, the worldwide reveal, so that's going to do it for me. And I'm out. Peace. Have a good day.